Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. You're very welcome to the programme. Where we are is we're just outside the city of Ryswick in the Netherlands. And the Peace of Ryswick was a series of treaties signed in the Dutch city of Ryswick between the 20th of September and the 30th of October 1697. They ended the 9 Years' War of 1688 and 1697 between France and the Grand Alliance, which included the Dutch Republic and the Holy Roman Empire. Neither side was able to make significant territorial gains, and by 1695, with huge financial costs, both sides needed peace. Now, the Grand Alliance had been signed on the 20th of December 1689 by King William III and the Holy Roman Empire Leopold I. Its primary purpose was to oppose the expansionist policies of King Louis XIV of France. And as part of the Treaty of Ryswick, Louis had agreed to recognise William III as the monarch of England and Scotland rather than the exiled King James II. So there was a palace here, and it has a big connection with the treaty. And all that's left of the palace, unfortunately, is the pawns and this needle, this pinnacle, the Needle of Ryswick, which commemorates the palace that was here and also the peace treaty of Ryswick. So after the death of James II in 1701, Louis, he actually proclaimed James's son, Prince James, as the rightful King of England. So he had went back on his agreement. Now, Prince James tried a number of times to retake the Scottish and English throne for the House of Stuart, but each time the rebellions failed. King William III himself died in 1702 and King Louis XIV died in 1715. Now, the Needle of Ryswick, along with the two pawns that I mentioned there, marks the area where the Huster Nuremberg Palace once stood, and the palace with its gardens was the country house of the Princes of Orange, and it was used for the peace negotiations which resulted in the 1697 Treaty of Ryswick. Now, Prince Frederick Henry, he actually built the palace. So the palace was built for him of the House of Orange, Nassau, and that was between 1630 and 1636. The palace, of course, was the country house of the Princes of Orange, and unfortunately the palace was demolished in 1790. And there you can see the needle, the pinnacle. Now, Prince Frederick Henry was born on the 29th of January 1584 and he died on the 14th of March 1647, and he was a stadtholder or a steward, but it's not like a steward as we think of a steward. He was a leader, so it's more power than just a steward, and he was a steward or a stadtholder in the Dutch Republic. Now, he was a son of William I, William the Silent, and he was a leading soldier in the Dutch wars against Spain. And he was also the grandfather of King William III, the Prince of Orange, or better known as King Billy. So this is where the palace was. You can see it's all marked out. So the grounds are tremendous here. Now, they're not buried here in any of the House of Orange. They're buried in the new church in Delft, but this is commemorating them. Now, it's in Dutch, but you can make some of it out. So it's Stadtholder Frederick Hendrik, or Henry, and he was born, of course, in 1584, and he died in 1647. There's also a date there for 1630. I'm not sure what that's for, but his wife's mentioned there, Amelia van Slums, or in other words, off Slums. She was born 31st of August 1602. She died 8th of September 1675, and she was Princess of Orange by marriage, and of course she was a grandmother of King Billy. So you can see the outline there of the house and the grounds. There's the house. And as you can see, the grounds are quite extensive. And all this is a park today. This mentions the palace. The palace does host our Newburgh. It also mentions Frederick Hendrik and his wife Amelia van Slums. Again, there's the mansion. And it says Mansion Royal. You can see the outline there of it. And this is another one. This actually mentions Stadtholder William IV, Prince of Orange. He was born on the 1st of September 1711. He died on the 22nd of October 1751. Mentions William V, the Prince of Orange. He was the last Stadtholder of the Dutch Republic. He went into exile in London in 1795. He was born on the 8th of March 1748. And he died on the 9th of April 1806. You see two dates there, 1786, 1791. And then it says there, Ryswick. So that's the mansion and the surrounding area. So I also want to talk to you about William the Silent, who was the great-grandfather of King Billy. And he was the father of Frederick Hendrik. But before I do, I'm going to show you these here. These are more of these slabs. Again, you can see the layout there of the house and the grounds. As you can see, must have been some palace. It was massive, like. So in this one, it mentions France, but it also mentions Ludwig the 14th, or in other words, King Louis the 14th of France. It mentions the Netherlands, England, Spain, and Deutschland, Dutch Republic. You can see Ludwig the 14th there. Of course, King Louis XIV was born the 15th of August 1769, and he died on the 5th of May 1821. It also mentions the 21st of September 1967, and of course that's when France signed a treaty of peace with the Dutch Republic, which was a key step in the overall peace of Ryswick, which concluded the 9 Years' War. This one's the Needle of Ryswick, which was erected in 1792 to commemorate the Treaty of Ryswick of 1697. You can get a better picture there of the mansion. Fantastic, isn't it? Just a pity the mansion itself is no longer with us. So this is the one then that I say mentions the needle. 1792 to 1793. It was erected in 1792 to commemorate the Treaty of Ryswick of 1697. And there's a picture of it. As you can see. But I also want to talk to you about William the Silent. As I say, he was the great-grandfather of King Billy. Now, William the Silent got his name by keeping silent whenever King Henry II of France took him into his confidence, thinking that William knew of his plans to exterminate the Protestants in France and indeed in the entire Christian world. William said nothing, but secretly planned against these threats. So William I of the House of Orange was born on the 24th of April 1533, died on the 10th of July 1584. He was a wealthy nobleman who originally served the Spanish House of Habsburgs, but unhappy with the centralisation of political power being taken away from the local estates, and with the Spanish persecution of Dutch Protestants, William joined the Dutch uprising, and he actually became the leader. So it was through William that the Netherlands gained their independence as the Dutch Republic. So he was declared an outlaw by King Philip II of Spain, and a price was put on his head, dead or alive, and he was assassinated by Balthasar Gerard, who was a big fan of Philip II. He was assassinated at his own residence, William's own residence, in the city of Delft in 1584. And the bullet holes can still be seen in the wall. Now, William was buried in 1584 in what was the start of the burial vault of the members of the House of Orange and the Dutch royal family in the New Kirk in Delft. Now, Balthasar Gerard was captured and he was held captive in the city hall in Delft. He was tried, tortured, and executed. So this is the pinnacle that you're looking at, the Needle of Ryswick. And this is the monument to the Treaty of Ryswick and to the palace. It's a brave size, so it is. The writing there's in Dutch. Nice gold writing, you just can't read it. And again, the same there, it's in Dutch. So if you can read Dutch, you're flying. I can't. I can barely read English. But the grounds here are quite beautiful, there's no doubt about it. Now, the last time I was here, and it was actually the first time, you couldn't really see. You could see the needle, that was about it, because there was a concert here and the whole place was full of people, full of different things, stage and all. So I never really got to see too much, but today I've seen a lot. It's great to see it here. So we're almost finished. It's going to take you through the forest here and show you a billboard at the end of the forest. Isn't this beautiful? This will take us towards Ryswick. Now the billboard's in Dutch, but there is photographs on it, and I will be able to explain the photographs for you. So that's the needle of Ryswick. So this is the board. Now as you can see, it's in Dutch. But that's the palace. But it's all in Dutch. So this is the palace and the grounds and the surrounding area. And then this is a V1 German bomb, known in England as the Doodlebug, but I don't know why. I don't know why there's a picture of it there. If I was able to read Dutch, I'd be able to tell you, but unfortunately I can't. And then this gentleman here is Henry, on horseback.
That's Frederick Henry, Jim?
Yep. And Amelia's sons, I think. His wife. William's grandmother.
King William III?
Yeah, it's his grandparents.
And this is Frederick again with his good lady, Amelia von Slums. So this is the grandfather and the grandmother of King Billy, King William III, the Prince of Orange. And
Sure wasn't he called?
they're buried in the new church as well, in
That's right.
the vault.